Hey, shitheads, TJ here with Dine at Death Millburg, and it is Shots Fired, episode 14. And we're back at it today because shots have been fired again, and they're in the news. Again. And today, the title of the podcast is Solve Your Own Homicide.
Or your murder.
Or your murder.
Depending on which side of the fence you're on.
With the, if you're a civilian, you're going to solve your own murder. But if you're in law enforcement, it was drilled into my head to solve your own homicide. Like our instructors, our firearms instructors, they were always like, look, don't make somebody else solve your fucking homicide. When we get there, the bad guy that killed you better be laying in a pool of his own blood just a few feet away from you. And that's where training comes into effect, right? You got to train because you might not always win.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah. But, the other guy might be faster. In law enforcement, the average shooting, law enforcement, police officer involved shooting, happens within 6 to 8 feet.
That's pretty fucking close.
It's over within 3 to 4 seconds. The cops' hit rate, like going back 4,000 police involved shootings, according to the FBI, is an accuracy rate of 20%.
Ooh.
Yeah. And
that's like me at a USPSA match. Damn, that's bad.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah. It's sad, but it's
83% of the officers killed between 1994 and 2003 were killed within in a range of 21 feet.
21 that's where you always hear that 21-foot rule.
Yeah, it's 7 fucking yards, isn't it? Yeah, three times 7, carry the 1. The thing is, being a cop and nowadays being a civilian and being a responsible gun owner and carrying your gun every day, you don't know what's going to happen. You wake up that day, you think, okay, it's going to be a normal day just like any other. You make that traffic stop, you get that call, or you get out of the car at the Walmart, and next thing you know, you're faced with life or death decisions that are over in 3 to 4 seconds, 6 to 8 feet from you. Cops go through this every single day. They every engagement that they're in, being shot is anticipated. Being involved in a shooting is anticipated. Yeah. But it's never expected.
So, you're supposed to anticipate everything, right?
Well, yeah. If you're a
anticipate.
Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Wow, that's great. Podcast over.
Yes. Your shots were so bad it didn't even register your score.
No, you know what? I probably had a 20% hit rate right there. And I'm pretty sure I didn't use my sights at all. I was straight gangstering you.
At this distance, though, who needs sights?
Well, and that's a big debate, right? When shit hits the fan that quickly, first of all, you're not going to remember if you used your sights or not.
Fuck no.
So no kind of fucking FBI study on Earth is going to tell you whether you did or not.
No.
But, when the shit hits the fan like that, you really should be training for point shooting, accuracy, by volume, point shooting, and putting rounds on target, which is that center mass. Deflate the lungs, deflate the heart, take out the spine if you can. And if you get a couple laid into the chest, throw a couple into the face for good measure.
It makes your wiener hard to, run a piece of paper out at 25 yards and take your time, line up and all that, and have, that size groups at 25 yards. But that has absolutely no fucking bearing on real life scenarios at all. No. Real life is you have a target at 4 yards. How fast can you get that gun out and one-handed from down here start engaging that
for
target?
retention?
Yeah, because realistically, that's what's going to happen. If you watch, one thing cool about social media is there's all these videos now of all kinds of different defense shootings. One of the guys showed me there's an Instagram page of like Gunfighter or something, and they have all these different shootings. I have not seen anyone do that yet. Straight up side alignment, punch out, and take their time. No, it's just bang.
Right.
And usually running backwards.
And
while
is there ever after the bang? Is there ever?
No. There has not been one single search and assess that I have seen.
Yeah, maybe that's the problem. Well, anyway, seriously, the reason we're talking about solving your own homicide is because it actually happened twice in the last 48 hours. Twice in the last 48 hours. The first being American-born Israeli citizen Ari Fold You might have heard about this guy. He's a big social media guy. He left the United States. He was born American. He was born an American citizen. He left New York to go to Israel. He joined the IDF. He's still a reservist, or was, for the IDF. And he chose to be what they call a settler in one of those West Bank towns where, the Palestinians don't necessarily think the Israelis belong.
Slight.
And so the other day, he was attacked, him personally. I'm sure he was targeted. I mean, this is a very high-profile pro-Israel social media guy getting ready to go on tour in America to dispel the myths about Israel, quote unquote. And a 17-year-old Palestinian boy decided to stab the living shit out of him right in front of a market or a mall. It's actually on video. Let's take a quick second to watch the video. Check this shit out. So you see him here. He's actually stabbing the guy right there in the corner. And then the video's kind of time-lapse. You see him running. You see the guy that was stabbed is actually running down the street. And then pop, 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 pop. Everybody's fucking shooting this kid. And that's the beautiful thing about Israel, right?
Everybody's got a gun.
Everybody's got a gun because, that's the way they live there. What are you thinking?
Not to interject, but you could do an
No,
entire...
you're interrupting. That's what it is. It's really not interjecting.
Damn it.
But anyway, go ahead.
I'm trying to use
Go
big
ahead.
words here.
Go ahead.
Would he maybe still be alive, or a better chance if they carried American carry instead of Israeli carry without one in the chamber? Could that have made a significant difference in this situation?
I doubt it. On the video, you can't tell if he had the chamber around or not. I doubt it. You never know, because can you chamber around while somebody's stabbing you? This kid got the knife into this guy several times. He came up to him from behind. He didn't see him coming.
Yeah, you're kind of fucked at that.
The key thing is this kid stabbed him several times, and he still chased him down and shot him.
Damn.
And so did another guy that was there. There was actually two people there. I guess everybody started shooting this kid. But this guy, Ari Fold, he's hailed as a hero by the Israelis, by their parliament, by Netanyahu. The American ambassador, talked good shit about him. He solved his own homicide. He chased the kid down, put rounds in him, then collapsed and died. And, that's a shitty story.
Yeah.
That's a shitty way to go, but at least somebody doesn't have to try to solve your homicide.
Yeah, if you're going to go, take somebody with you.
And so, that takes a fighter's mindset. It takes training. It takes focus. And he probably didn't even know he was stabbed.
No.
Adrenaline. A lot of times you don't even know you're stabbed, or you don't even know you're shot.
Yeah.
The movies where, somebody gets fucking stabbed or shot and they fall down dead, that shit doesn't happen. Not unless you shoot them in the right fucking spot.
Yeah,
and most of the time that's not going to happen unless you get off a volley of shots and you get a good lucky one in there. So that was in Israel. That was just 2 days ago, and then sadly yesterday, very close to us here. We're in St. Louis, Missouri, and very close to us over in Sedgwick County, Kansas. A deputy, Robert Kunz, was killed on the Kunzi probably. Robert Kunzi was killed in the line of duty during the afternoon. It was about 1 o'clock in the afternoon near Wichita, Kansas. This is a fucked up story. So Deputy Kunzi gets a call along with another deputy responding backup for a suspicious vehicle. And some civilians were following this vehicle. It was a pickup truck, black pickup truck, whatever. And I guess the civilians that called in the police, the 911 call, said that they thought this guy was going to steal some ATVs or something. And so Kunzi gets there, and when he gets there, there's a black truck and I guess a silver truck parked on the side of the road. And the silver truck, I guess, had the hood up, which is the suspect vehicle. The black truck was actually the civilians that followed him. So somehow these civilians had gotten involved with this thing. So Kunzi gets there, and like within a minute of him getting there, he pushes his tone on his radio, his I need help button, and he gets a radio call out that he'd been shot. 1 minute later, 60 seconds later, at 1:39 in the afternoon, his backup guy gets there on the scene, sees the two civilians hiding behind their truck. They tell him that shots have been fired. They're crouching down. He goes around the back of the vehicle between the law enforcement vehicle and the suspect vehicle. He finds Deputy Kunzi laying on his side in the ditch, unconscious, unresponsive. And right next to him is the suspect, who has not been identified yet, laying there unconscious, unresponsive. The deputy's gun had been drawn and had been fired, and the bad guy's gun had been drawn. They're not sure if it had been fired yet. We assume it was. Doubt the deputy shot himself. Yeah. The weapon found next to the bad guy was a .40 caliber handgun. And here's where it gets super weird. Okay, so not only did Deputy Kunzi not save his own life, obviously he didn't. He solved his own homicide, which saved the guys he works with from having to go through that.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, if you have to manhunt somebody for weeks and months, that can be extremely trying on everybody involved. So he was able to do what they taught me in the academy, and that's solve your own homicide, because the guy that killed him was laying next to him in a puddle of his own blood. But here's the fucked up part. The bad guy that they haven't identified yet, he had been on a crime spree. They reported that he stole a silver Dodge during an aggravated robbery early Sunday morning. Okay. Later that day, Deputy Kunzi, the deceased officer, had been dispatched to the 3300 block of West MacArthur, where he took a report of a stolen .40 caliber weapon from a vehicle.
Damn.
And so that kind of gives you the goosebumps, right? This cop went and took the report about the gun being stolen out of a car. And that same gun that he took the report on killed him mere hours later.
That's some crazy shit.
That is crazy shit. And but at least he solved his own homicide. And again, it went down quickly. It was over in less than 60 seconds. We're not sure exactly how it went down yet. No cameras have come out or anything like that. But it went down in the ditch, and both bodies were laying right next to one another. And it was over within 60 seconds. Like a minute or so after he got out of his car. It was that fast. And so, anyway, if this podcast does anything for you, number one, thank police officers. They got a thankless job that where they risk not going home to their family every single day. This guy had a wife and a kid. Do what you can to support law enforcement, but also do what you can to make sure that A, you're able to protect yourself, your family, and your belongings, and B, if somebody does get the jump on you, as you saw Alex got the jump on me in the beginning of the podcast, solve your own homicide, solve your own murder.
Go take somebody down with you.
Yeah. I mean, the fact is, if you're law enforcement especially, you don't get to get the first shot, ever.
Nope.
You always have to retaliate. You never get to go on the offensive. And so chances are, you're going to have at least one bullet hole in you when that gunfight starts. And you got to make sure that you get the mindset to not let that take you out of the fight unless it really took you out of the fight.
Yeah.
And stay in the fight for that 3 to 4 seconds. That's it's half a bull ride. Stay in the fight.
Yeah.
Get it done. Get that fucking bad guy down. Right.
That should be the only thought. Except the one thing we did, it was always just accept the fact that you're already dead. It's just a matter of when. So, if the time came, no matter what, you're still going to go down with one hell of a fight. Because in all reality, everybody's already dead. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah.
So the faster you accept that, then when shit like that does pop off, then the one thing going through your mind is, well, I'm always going to make this motherfucker regret that he ever pulled something with me.
Yeah. Yeah, you got plenty of time for that whole life flashing before your eyes shit when you're laying on the ground bleeding out.
Yeah.
Spend that first 3 to 4 seconds putting fucking holes in the bad guy.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, you know what else sucks about this?
What's that?
That the fucking gun was stolen out of somebody's car.
That's just poor negligence. Lock your shit up. Don't be an idiot.
I'm not trying to segue into an ad here. It's going to happen, right? Because we're sponsored by Zorg Gun Locks.
Yes.
But, lock the fucking gun in your glove box. Somebody can rip the glove box open, sure. You're right.
At least make it difficult.
If you're at home, all right, like I go home every night. I'm going home when I get done with this podcast. And I carry a gun with me everywhere I fucking go. I don't have one on me right now because I didn't want to accidentally shoot you with the real one.
Because then I'd have to take you out.
That would have made this the most listened to podcast we've ever had, but probably
Possibly
the
ever.
last one. But anyway, I carry a gun everywhere I go. Typically, right now my truck's got an AK in it. I've always got a truck gun plus my handgun. And so at night, I got to get those fucking guns out of the truck, and I got to bring them in the house and do what I do with them, right? Sometimes I'm laying in bed, and I look over at the nightstand across the room, because I keep my gun laying on the nightstand across the room so that I at least have to wake up a little bit before I pick it up, right? I don't want to be having one of those fucked up dreams and, fuck, oh, damn, shit. Don't want to have that happen, so I keep the gun across the room. So gun's got night sights on it, so I lay there and I look across the room, and my fucking nightstand, there's no cat eyes showing at me, right? And I'm like, God damn it. So I get up out of bed in my silkies, and I go walk out into the fucking driveway because I know I left my gun in the car. Now, I'm not just going to get the gun because I need the gun to protect my house. I'm going to get the gun because I know that the one fucking time I leave that gun in the car, somebody's going to break that goddamn window out, and they're going to steal my gun.
Yep. Which is another good reason not to advertise you have guns. Not having Glock, Smith & Wesson, AR, this car protected by Springfield. Probably a good idea.
This is coming from guys that sell decals.
Yeah.
We sell the decals. But in reality, honestly, you really don't want to advertise that you're a gun guy on your car.
Put it on your rifle case and your gun safe.
Right, yeah. Put them on the safe. Put them on the gun case.
Cooler. All that shit.
I mean, some obscure decals that nobody's going to understand. Only you and maybe some people in the community might get. Yeah, Schmeiser.
You could completely get away with the Schmeiser sticker.
Yeah.
Yes.
Schmeiser, the German Glock company, right?
Yeah.
Wait, Glock's German. No, they're not.
Austrian.
I
mean, according to Hitler, same thing. He was Austrian, but considered himself German. Same thing.
So you don't put a bunch of decals on your car that advertise you have a gun in it. And if you do that, fine, cool. I mean, I got a Tactical Sht Spartan on the back of my truck, and it's made out of guns. Again, most people don't get that, right?
Yeah.
But don't leave your fucking gun in the car. There are only a couple places in the state that we're in that you can't carry a gun, and that's pretty much the post office and federal buildings and schools. Yeah. And so, so let's say we got to go into the school, right? We can't take the gun into the school because we got to go in and get the progress report because young Thomas, my son, has done something stupid. I got to leave the gun in my car. Hey, Josh, will you run and get my real gun off the desk? I need my real gun real quick. Hey, don't shoot yourself with it. Just get it.
Or Chris.
Oh, no, Chris, he's kind of being a bitch today. I think he's supposed to be somewhere like with his girlfriend or his fiancée. Yeah.
That whole it just goes downhill from there.
Right. How old's your baby?
6 months.
Yeah, you better answer that right. I know your wife doesn't listen to our podcast.
No, that's why I'm not that worried. I can talk shit all day on this. She doesn't listen to this. The videos she'll watch just to see if I fuck up.
Thank you, sir. So, let's say, where were we at? We're leaving the gun in the car because we had to go into the school.
Yeah.
Or we had to go to the baseball game. Another very dangerous place, by the way, to leave your gun.
Specifically targeted.
Yep. Baseball games, especially here in St. Louis, Missouri, are specifically targeted because they know you can't carry a gun into the baseball game.
But you
metal
definitely
detectors.
carried one down there.
You definitely carried one downtown. And so every car down there is, a prime target for that smash and grab.
Guarantee if you went down there and parked at a Cards game with fucking Smith & Wesson and Glock stickers, highly good chance your shit's going to be busted into.
Absolutely. You know what would be funny? We should do that. You know they do the car, the bait cars?
Yeah.
We should get, some piece of shit car, put fucking gun stickers all over the back, and then, put a bunch of water guns inside the car or something, under the seats or something, so they get in there like, what the fuck? Maybe video it.
No.
Or we wire it with an IED.
No, I was going with, is that a setup to get a stateside kill? But I don't think you can shoot someone for breaking your car.
No, I don't
Pretty sure
think
that
so.
happened in Lake St. Louis, and that didn't go so well for the guy.
Well, that guy, the reason it didn't work for him in Lake St. Louis is because, and he was actually a tactical shithead.
He came to buy replacement magazines.
Right. The reason he got popped on that homicide charge is because, the guy was stealing the car out of his driveway. But he fired .357 Magnum rounds through the windshield of his own car as the guy backed it out of the driveway.
And then tried to chase him.
Well, either way, you're shooting at the guy as he's backing away from you, no immediate threat to you.
Yeah.
Not going to be you're going to be.
There's some explaining to do. You're in trouble.
You're going to be spending some time behind the walls. So this is a Zorg unlock. Right there. Right there. It's a Zorg unlock. This is actually invented by the Israelis. And the way it works is it's a caliber-specific unlock. I like this for that time. You got to leave the gun in the car, right? It's good for when you got little children around, especially kids you don't know, you know, things like that. You don't have control over their training. But this is also, I'm really liking this for when I've got to leave the gun in the car so that the gun can't be used to kill a police officer a couple hours later.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure they can get the lock off if they work at it enough and maybe use it to kill somebody a day or two later. That's still your fucking fault for leaving your gun in your car.
But you're
not
if you're going to get that out.
If you're using a Zorg unlock, now it's locked. It's basically useless. They can steal it all they want. Oh, look at you trying to figure it out.
See, I can sit here all day and keep doing this.
Rubik's Cube that shit?
Yeah, and it is not going to happen.
So, chambers around. But if you're getting followed back to the car by a gang of thugs and you need to get to it pretty quickly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, green means go. And then it chambers around if you had a magazine in there. So it's that quick to get the lock to disengage if you know the code. And, of course, you don't need to make the code that simple. But I prefer simple, just complicated enough that a Marine can't open it.
Man, I couldn't open it if I said it with my code because, you know, my TBIs and stuff. You're sitting there, fucking 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Hey, speaking of sponsors, when I shot you, was my Mantis on?
I don't think it was, or it wasn't synced up. Because a 0 scored, I'm sure. Well, it was definitely reactive.
Is it synced up now?
I mean, it should be. Oh, yeah, 84.7 that time.
Oh, that sucks. Let me try to get Mattis between the eyes.
How dare you? Good. Your score went down because you're trying to aim at Mattis. It's not possible. Your score is literally going down, 56-3. You can't shoot at Mattis.
You're right. There is a fucking force field on your shirt.
I tried telling you.
Protecting you from the bullets.
It's the power of the knife hand.
Jesus.
Yeah, you thought that was a joke. That's not a joke.
So if you're wondering what we're talking about, this is another sponsor of the show. It's called Mantis. It's actually a Picatinny rail-mounted Dumaflachi. And the Dumaflachi is Bluetooth to the tablet or your phone or whatever. Let's show that right there. You see that?
It honestly is like a badass piece of gear.
And it tells me that I was tightening my grip too much on those shots, which is very true. It also shows me all my muzzle movement.
All of the movement.
All of the movement. And you can actually see, if I show you that, you can see the muzzle movement as I aim my pistol at Alex.
Wow.
And then I try to hold still. Is that thing moving?
Still a little bit.
Right, because I'm shaking.
Yeah, and it's in your shake pattern, too. It's actually pretty cool. The other cool thing about that is that one is set up for CO2. You can set it up for CO2, for dry fire, or set it up for live fire, rifle or pistol, left-handed or right-handed.
Yeah, and so
I mean, it's got a shit ton of stuff.
The coolest thing about Mantis, it's a great practice tool.
Absolutely.
It's going to help you, work on that trigger control and on your squeeze and on your brake and, not anticipating the shot and all of that stuff, as well as, what parts of your hand and wrist need to be locked and what fingers need to be loose, things like that. But they keep improving the app. The Dumaflachi is like $149.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But the app's free.
Yeah.
So I don't know how the fuck they're going to stay in business because you buy this and the app's free and then you just keep getting a better app, right?
Yeah.
So like a year ago, this thing wasn't nearly as cool as it is now. It just keeps getting cooler. So you buy the Dumaflachi and they keep making apps for the next 10 years, unless Bluetooth goes away, chances are the Dumaflachi is going to be yours and all you got to do is keep downloading the new version of the app. So that's kind of neat.
Until they come out with the version that replaces your guide rod.
Oh.
Damn.
But then I've got the weapon light in my guide rod, so.
So you do the light laser training thing combo.
I like it. And the train
Rod of Destiny is what it would be called. Does everything.
All right. Much like every other shots fired, we've gotten off on some sort of tangent. Yeah. Anyway, solve your own homicide. And to do that, it's all about mindset and it's about training. And the training that you need to do, just in case we weren't clear, is, with an instructor, first of all. Right?
Preferably.
Because gun ownership is a right, but training is a responsibility.
Exactly.
And you need to be doing that training and training for high-stress encounters within 6 to 10 feet, 21 feet at the maximum, and putting multiple rounds on man-sized torso targets. Work on your Mozambique drills, failure drills. What do you prefer, the Mozambique or a 7-round stitch?
I will go back and forth between both for no other reason than you do it too much on just one, then you might actually in a gunfight just go boom, boom, or Mozambique, boom, 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 and that's it, and not continue to stop the threat.
Yeah.
I like Zipper just because you hit that pelvic girdle, they're immobilized right there.
Let's talk about that really quick. When I was a cop, nobody was talking about the pelvic girdle.
Yeah.
Right? It was 2 to the chest, 1 to the head.
Yeah.
Right? And I got really fucking proficient at that. That's what I trained over and over and over again. Like when I shoot IDPA right now, if there's Mozambique on the stage, I'm winning.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's something I've done over and over and over again in my life. It's like, bah, bah, bah.
Yeah.
This thing's about dead. I can't even get it to fire fast enough. But also when I was a cop, St. Louis County, they didn't teach that wasn't their modus operandi. They taught the zipper, what we got the 7-round stitch, starting at the 3rd button on the shirt, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
And you can never get anybody's head to hold still long enough for that.
And that's the problem with both these drills is while, especially USPSA, fun as fuck to shoot, but the second something moves, especially trying to hit a head, unless you got a big-ass fucking head on somebody you're trying to smoke.
You got to lead them a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that shit's not easy. But starting, and as you come up, most of the time, your pistol is right there at the pelvis-ish area.
In other words, shooting him in the dick.
Yeah, I mean, you come up and you start hitting here.
Yeah.
You can start engaging from here and continue to fire as you extend out and zipper your way from the pelvic up into the chest cavity.
Yeah.
You're not aiming at an area like that. You're now aiming at a majority of someone's body.
Right.
If you hit one in the pelvic girdle, you're probably immobilized.
Yeah, they're
you
going
work
down.
Your way up.
Sack of potatoes.
You're just hitting important shit on the way
Just
up.
imagine, where would you rather be shot? In the chest or in the dick?
Neither. I mean, preferably.
This is a rather question. Where would you, if I was, if you were going to get
chest.
Chest.
Honest,
I'd take it in the chest all day long.
There is 2 major arteries right there. Your
and
balls
my dick.
And your dick. That's a lot going on.
Well, the whole
there
idea behind shooting someone in the pelvic girdle, because everybody's got body armor these days. Even civilians, we sell it. So law enforcement needs to be training for the pelvic shot first, right? Because you put one in the pelvic, 2 or 3 in the chest, and if you got the headshot, great. But the pelvic should have took him out of the game because that bullet is going to break the pelvic girdle.
Yeah.
And you can't.
That supports your whole weight.
Yeah,
that keeps you
You
upright.
can no longer stand up.
No.
Right? And that takes you out of the fight.
And you're not trying to kill anyone. You are simply trying to stop the threat. You want to get to the fastest way of stopping the threat possible. And personally, while headshots are cool and high speed and look great on paper and look great in matches, it's just not fucking realistic.
Right.
Not to mention, that always doesn't work either. But you hit somebody in the pelvic girdle and put 5 rounds between wiener and chest here, they're fucking done. There is no, I mean, the chances of them getting back up and continuing the fight are slim to nil. I mean, that's just not going to happen.
Unless there's a shitload of meth involved.
Or PCP.
PCP
then, I mean,
will do that, yeah.
Then you're like doing mag changes and shit.
Yeah. You got a fly friend over there. You got him! No, I don't know. All right, so hopefully you learned something today. If nothing else, you learned that a police officer in Kansas was killed, but he solved his own homicide, that a hero in Israel was killed, but he solved his own homicide, and that you need to stop shooting at targets 25 yards away and start working on that 6 feet to 21 feet, high-stress pelvic girdle.
Absolutely.
Fucking work it and prepare your mind to solve your own murder. God forbid you ever have to do it. Keep your heads on a swivel, shitheads. We will see you next time.